Hey everybody, welcome. Hi, welcome to the show. Welcome, yeah. It took me a while to get in because I had a couple things to do at my other channel, but hey, I'm back. Here I am. Yeah. Today we're going to be taking a look at jambalaya. Yeah, turkey jambalaya. We're going to try to achieve a texture including, yeah, normally it's made with chicken, but we're going to go with turkey today. Yeah, something that's came out of the Cajun world. Yeah, and we've got some amazing Patti LaBelle dress, like seasoning that we're going to be using to get that Cajun effect. Very cool. I'm going to get into the chat room right now. All right. So, how do we begin? Well, let's start with a light. Let's get the light on here. Whoa. Okay. Jambalaya, yeah, isn't that great? So we will not be uploading this right after the show, because last time we did that there was some stalls and there was some problems, so we won't be uploading it right away, but I will be. Yeah, they are DDoSing me right now. I told them if they DDoS me, I'll expand my show past 11 o'clock. We're already up to 11 o'clock now. Now remember, I can go all the way to 2 in the morning on camera talking. Now, if they want me to do that, I'll do that, and I'll be talking about some really serious subjects that many of them don't want to talk about, because these people who are DDoSing me are probably, trying to stop what I'm doing. Yeah, salmon. Well, you're having salmon, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, peppers. Yeah, close to mine. Yeah. So we're gonna do a dollar's worth of shrimp. I buy shrimp when I get it for $5.99 for a couple pounds. So this is about $1 worth of shrimp from Thailand. Now the turkey is no hormone turkey from Butterball, and they've been making that no hormone product for a while. Yeah, I'm impressed. Butterball has always been a favorite of mine for the holidays. So Butterball, and this is David's kitchen. So if you've never been to my kitchen, this is my kitchen. I've got a view of the Olympic Mountains out the front here, which is pretty nice. I've got a really nice cactus plant. And I've got a a dahlia here that is just not wanting to grow. I think it's the seasoning, or the amount of fertilizer I have in there is from last year. I don't think that's enough fertilizer. Then again, it may need a more wet soil base, so I'm not sure. I'm thinking of putting it outside in my cold frame. I just set up a cold frame for my artichokes. I'm growing a couple more artichokes. I'm building like a wall of artichoke in my garden. So I put a cold frame out there and I put it over the male artichoke, and then the 2 females are next to it. They're going to be propagating. I've got 2 others on the outside of the cold frame that are, hey, thanks for loving me. Appreciate it. But unfortunately, you're not allowed to use any of these weird things in the screen. That's not acceptable. Yeah, sorry. You lose your account. Yeah, and no posting. It's hard enough seeing the chat to have to look at that. So let's get started. As usual with all of these dinners, I start with the onion. Okay. Now let's go over the pricing here real quick. The turkey was $2.99, and that is fantastic. Yeah. The turkey was $2.99, and that's the standard price for this turkey, this Butterball. And this is a really good product, so I highly recommend getting it at $2.99. Like the shrimp was $1, so I'm adding the shrimp to that. And then the pepper and the onion is $1, so that's $4.99. And then $2 for the Brussels sprouts and the broccoli and the cauliflower. And these are really good vegetables, by the way, to be eating. So We're going to integrate those into the dinner. So, right, we're up to $7.99, no, $6.99, and we have $1 extra for the shrimp. Excuse me, the shrimp sauce was just part of the thing that I had in the refrigerator. I paid $1 for this, so I'm up to $8 here. So you can stay within an $8 budget. That'd be great. Yeah, so I thought it was 7, but then the more I don't want to go too low because I know most people don't shop like I do and get the best possible deals all the time. Okay, let's start with the Brussels sprouts. That's a good idea. So let's get the pan going at level 3. Get this positioned a little bit more this way. There we go. Level 3 in the back burner. I cleaned the pan off for your edification. Yeah. I use stainless steel because I don't trust these new products they have in the market, like all the PFASs, all these things that were on pans in the old days, the stickless ones, which I, of course, did cook with, and I probably ate that stuff. What they do is they come up with a new brand of the chemical glaze, and then they wait for it to, be integrated into the market, and then, I don't know. I just don't trust anything new anymore. Yeah, I'm having a hard time with that. Now, the shrimp is sitting in water, and I'm just going to flip it over. It came out of the freezer. You can easily store this stuff in the freezer, and it'd be out on the counter for about 3 hours, and you're good to go. You're broke and you eat out? Yeah, well, that's the thing. You'd save so much money if you didn't do that. I see people at McDonald's every day. They can't get enough of it. And, that's okay if you're on a trip or something, but a steady diet of it? Yeah, well, that's the thing. A lot of people who eat out are broke. They just don't realize how easy and cheap it is to cook for yourself. Okay, I'm going to spray the atomizer on here. And I'm going to go ahead and wash off some vegetables. So we'll put the water over the vegetables. None of the vegetables are organic except the onion. The rest are just store-bought, regular vegetables. You can't really pick and choose when it comes to the broccoli and the cauliflower. But I will say this: the broccoli and cauliflower, and some of these have the lowest amount of herbicide residue of all the vegetables. Yeah, it's the way they grow, and they don't really get a lot of residue on them. Okay, we're going to cut the Brussels sprout. You just take the bottom off, which is always kind of screwed up. And then I just bisect it like that. And then put it on the grill, flat on the grill, just like that. We'll get to the spices in a little bit. Easy peasy. And of course, when you're cutting, you always want to make sure that you always look at the knife. Now, some of these Brussels sprouts can have a little bit of weirdness on the side, so you just kind of shave that off. There you go. Survey says, super easy vegetable to cook with. And what I do, like at night, if you have a craving for carbohydrates, which a lot of people do, the vitamin B as in boy, happens to be really high in Brussels sprouts. So I used to have a cereal eating addiction where I'd go in and eat cereal late at night. And I did gain a lot of weight doing that. And it's not good for you for people that are potentially diabetic. So what I recommend doing is taking about 4 or 5 Brussels sprouts. And when you get hungry at like 11 o'clock at night or even later, just put them on a little bit of oil or butter and turn the flame on low and just throw a little splash of water and a little garlic powder or something in there, Italian seasoning. I just bought a new Italian seasoning at Walmart and I was like, wow, that's a pretty good deal for $1. So I'm going to get that. So I got that in case I run out. But yeah, what you do is cook it so it's so tender. It's like eating a little. I cook it with carrots too. So you have carrots and Brussels sprouts as opposed to a big piece of pizza, or a big bowl of cereal. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and wash the cauliflower, and then I'll cut up the onion. I'm gonna wash the cauliflower and the broccoli. And these are cruciferous vegetables. That means that they form a cross at the center of their growth cycle. So they call them cruciferous vegetables. They form a cross right here. So if you actually see, I'm going to pull these off. Leave a little of the stalk on each item. You want to keep the stalk as much on there, but you can pull them down to where they're just ready to break off. They're ready to fall apart like that. But they form a cross at the center, and cruciferous vegetables are good for fighting disease. That's what they say. They're good for building up your immunity to disease. Yeah. And the stalk is also very, very important to eat too. So you don't want to forget the stalk. So I'll be cooking all of this, but I'm going to cook the stalk first. Any stalks. That looks pretty good. Okay. Okay, so in there with the Brussels sprouts go the stalks. So we'll just cut. With the stalks on the broccoli, you want to cut the very base off in case it comes to the store, because that's usually kind of dull or weird. And then when you see sides like this, you want to kind of shave along the sides, so with the knife. And you want to pull those leathery sides off the broccoli. Cauliflower doesn't have that problem. But yeah, if you get them in a dinner, it can kind of get caught in your teeth, and it's not great. The aesthetics are off. People like, what's this in my teeth? I can't get it out of my teeth. And pretty soon some guy's grabbing his mouth and he's going, what the hell's going on? Well, I got this stringy broccoli in my teeth. Yeah, you don't want that. But you can avoid it also by dicing it. So we'll just go ahead and dice it. There you go. And that's roughage too. That's good fiber. And that's good cruciferous vegetables. And all of those vegetables I just put in there, or I'm putting in there right now, are cruciferous. Okay, I'm just going to throw those in there, and I'm going to throw a little splash of Italian seasoning on there. Organic Italian seasoning I picked up. Okay, and sometimes I like to put a little oil on top too. Okay, so while that's getting hot at level 3, actually I'm going to kick it up to level 6. And I'm going to add a little water to it. Just a touch. Yeah, because I'm going to quick fry this, steam fry it. I'll put all the little pieces of artichoke, the base of the stock in there. And then I take a grab of, I usually clean up at this point, so I grab the spent things and I put it in my compost heap, which is underneath the sink. Now you see compost heaps that sell that are not exactly, yeah, they sometimes put carbon filters on them. Just get a Rubbermaid thing like this. And it's grody and gross, but it is definitely a lot better than those things that have, oh, you almost saw my foot, didn't you? Oh, I think you almost did, yeah. I think they're a little bit better than, Dave, can you make a dessert too? No, we're not doing dessert, we're doing something really healthy for you. Now the rice is organic, and I've been getting that frozen at Trader Joe's. A 3-pack is like $5.50, and yeah, it's a pretty good product. So if you see these at a Trader Joe's or they have another chain, right, on the East Coast. Adels or Ados or I forget the name of it. You guys know the name. It's an A, right? Adols. Whatever. Okay, and by the way, this is getting, the water is actually getting really flavorsome. That's a nice thing. Hey, Edmund. Yeah, you lost your count, man. Bye. Bye. Now, when do you put the turkey in? Well, I haven't put these in yet because I want to keep these kind of fresh. I think the onion goes in first. Let's do the onion. Do the onion. Do. Do the onion. Yesterday, or a couple days ago, or weeks ago, I did a countdown to see how fast I could cut the onion. Cut the onion. I think I'm under the 1 minute mark. I am. Yeah, I beat the. I did the 1 minute mark on this, and I was able to do it last time. Okay, so all that onion goes into the pan that's cooking right now. Okay, whoa, action cam. Okay, throw it right on the hot, steamy pan. All right. Now, as you know, we have this collection of Patti LaBelle's. Sarah and I bought this at a closeout sale one day. Uh-oh. Yeah, we bought this at a closeout sale, and Patti LaBelle's stuff was like 10 cents a piece, and I got all these spice containers. Patti LaBelle's spices are really good, and this is a no-salt mix. It's just plain good, she says. Hey, Randy, I told you, no more, no, you can't post that in the room, man. Oh, did you see my feet? Oh, I have such beautiful feet. Yeah, I was thinking of becoming a foot model, but I don't know. It seems kind of like self-love, though, when you love your own feet, but not in a way that is kind of like, it's not like a fetish or anything. But, you know, I could be a foot model. I've thought of it. Hi, David Sponheim, foot model. How are you? Yeah. That's my specialty. Then again, somebody would call me and probably say, "Hey, don't kink shame me, but you know, I need you to model your feet for private showing." I was like, no, sorry, that's got to be a magazine or something. Okay, just throw some of that Patti LaBelle in there. She's awesome. She is wonderful to do this, and it does get a little sticky after about 10 years. So. No, they're not grown together. They're perfect. Thanks, Meta-Nemesis. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, it's always good to have a knife to go in there and break it up, because a lot of times they get stuck. Let's throw about a tablespoon of Cajun dressing on there. Now that could also be curry with a little bit of hot, spicy cayenne. You can do that. If you're into Ethiopian flavoring, I have berbere sauce. But I don't think we need to go there. Yeah, that's a type of berbere, it's called. I don't know where it is. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. Berbere Ethiopian seasoning. It's made with paprika, cayenne, roasted garlic, allspice, ginger, and cardamom. It's an amazing spice. I should throw just a little on there. the cayenne kind of picks it up. But Patti LaBelle is really good with her dressing. She's doing great. Now, we're going to cut the end off of that turkey, like that. And you don't want to put that little metal piece in your dinner, so you want to snip it off and kind of make sure you know where it is. The smart thing is to just get rid of it and throw it right away in the trash. That way it doesn't end up in somebody's mouth and they don't sue you. Hey Jack, we talked about this. Jack Johnson, everybody. Now just put that turkey right on top of your vegetables that are cooking. Yeah, I think you can see that. Thank you. Thank you. Reboot. I'm pretending to be a robot because tonight's Technology Thursday. All right. Now is the time for everything to just start mixing together now. Just take that turkey and press into it. And bring everything from the bottom up to the top. There we go. Otherwise we're going to burn. You don't want to burn. Now you're infusing a lot of these flavors together while you're poking it. And you got to poke that fork or that spatula in there. All right, now the oil from the turkey will start doing its job and break up and start to infuse into the Brussels sprouts. There you go. Now there's not a lot of salt in this meal, so you're going to want to add salt. Today I'll be adding the Himalayan sea salt. The Himalayan sea salt is highly recommended. Now if you're using sausage, which this meal does normally take, you wouldn't need the salt. That's already got salt in it. You can make this meal with breakfast sausage, like, you know, Jimmy Dean or something. Okay. Make sure all the Brussels are as close to the bottom with the turkey, because they kind of need contact with the pan. Now, some people are saying, David, should I put celery in here? It's totally optional. Yeah, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I just poke that poke. I remember hearing that from a guy I met in California who was a football player for the NFL. He used to say that all the time. He says, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I just poke that poke. He knows who I'm talking about. He told me I was a really weird person. I found that rather odd. Yeah, I kind of bummed around with him one day and like went out, checked out his whole lifestyle. I was kind of amazed that he was quite an entrepreneur. Yeah, he sold jewelry at the airport. Because, you know, when you lose your NFL career due to whatever, you gotta pick it up and do something. So he did something, and he was amazing. He sold jewelry at the airport, and he'd have this coat on. And he'd open up, he'd open up his thing. Very intimidating guy. When you see a 6'4" guy walk up to you who's 260 pounds of all muscle, it's like, whoa, really? Yeah, very intimidating guy. Okay, we need to get the other vegetables in there. So just throw those in there and put them on top. Kind of break them off. You want the florets to kind of like steam at the top of this dish. Now normally this doesn't require, broccoli or cauliflower. It would normally require just peppers. Well, we're going to put peppers in the center of this dish with garlic. But we got to get these guys steaming. So I just kind of break them up with my hand and have them go in there. Basically bite size, You can grab them with a fork kind of thing. So if you got something that big, you want to break it up into half of that. All right. Then cover it right up again. and throw another layer of seasoning on top. And you can put Italian seasoning on there too. I'll put a little more Patty LaBelle and a little splash of Italian seasoning. And if you've got garlic powder, you can certainly do that. Okay, we are going at level 6, so you want to make sure that you give this a stir in about 5 minutes. Otherwise, it's going to get too hot. It's a quick way of cooking. But what I like to do is top it off with shrimp. Just put the shrimp right on top, and you see the water that it's in? Yeah, it's still frozen practically. It can go in there frozen. But you take that water and you put that right on top. Okay, that way it's going to kind of, these are already pre-cooked, I believe, the shrimp. So it's just going to steam at the top of the dish. But we're going to infuse the flavor of shrimp in there. And then, of course, I do have this amazing dairy-free shrimp bisque that I picked up. But you can replace that with like a lobster bisque at the dollar store. They sell that for $1. Yeah, a lobster bisque. You can even use half a can and mix like half the can with milk. But the lobster bisque they sell at the dollar store for $1 it does have MSG in it. So you may want to cut back on your MSG if you're worried about that. And you could even go with a yogurt base or something. I could even add yogurt to this dish at some point. But in the end, once everything's kind of worked its way down, because everything shrinks a little bit, what you want to do is then open it up, and we're going to put red pepper, or in many cases you could put full-on Anaheim peppers or green peppers in there. I'm going to put red pepper, and I'll get some garlic I'm going to put in there. Now, there used to be a TV show called Justin, or Cajun Cooking it was called. The guy's name was Justin, and he was an amazing character. He used a lot of salt. But he was a real Cajun guy. I mean, you couldn't get more Cajun than Justin. I don't think there's any copy of him. I probably have the only copies of him at all. I mean, I have a massive cooking collection from the 1980s and 70s on VCR. So, yeah, I'm probably going to transfer them digitally someday. I'll hire somebody to do it and just transfer it. Because the cooking shows that came out in that time period were just like amazing. People were really, they were taking advantage of their home cameras and they were doing productions. Yan Can Cook, another guy. Yan Can Cook was a famous, he cooked wok food mostly, Chinese. Floyd, a British guy who all he did was drink and cook. It was really amazing. And of course there's Julia Childs, right? You want to go about 1/4 inch thick on these things. And a lot of people use wine. I mean, I have cooking wine. And this dinner you can easily throw a splash of wine in there. For real. Like right when I infuse it with, I'm going to kind of put together a gastrique at the center of this with garlic and red pepper. So we're going to pull up some garlic. Yeah, pull these out of here. Okay. Yeah, these are really problematic, these garlics, I'll tell you. Well, when you get them, you don't know how many cloves there's going to be in each bundle. Like right there, you think that's 1 clove. That may be 3. So what I do is I take the smaller cloves, like these ones, and I'll replant them. Because they're not worth putting your fingers on and messing with. But then you keep breaking them open, and they're like, well, how many are there like that? There we go. You get 2 garlic on here. And those shells just come right off. But again, I prefer elephant garlic. But I just don't have it. It's more expensive at the store. I get these three of these garlics for $2, so it's just pretty good savings. And I just try to avoid Chinese garlic. Garlic in powder form is often from China, and they do use herbicides quite a bit. So I try to avoid the Chinese garlic. The USA garlic, not so much. I met a guy in California, in Santa Cruz, who raised garlic, organic garlic. So I was looking at going into gardening at one point and actually farming. My father grew up as a farmer, so it's fairly easy to grow. You know, it's a pretty sturdy crop. It's not going to break down. It's drought resistant too. Garlic is. All right. Let me get this in here. I'm going to take and open up this whole thing. Wow. I'm going to go right into the shrimp and kind of open up the center. Okay, I'm going to throw the garlic down in the middle of the pan. Right in the middle. And you've got a full boil going on in there. Okay. And I'm going to throw the red pepper right on top of the garlic. And just kind of pat it in there in the middle. And then I'm going to cover it up and turn it down to level 3. All right. And I had some extra coleslaw that was sitting in the fridge. And I get this non-GMO coleslaw. It's amazingly affordable. They sell these for $1.29. I see people buy these bags all the time, and they run out typically at my local grocery store. It's like a great alternative to lettuce. If you find lettuce is too expensive, people just do this kind of a non-GMO fresh express coleslaw. And these bags will last a family of 4, 3 days if you have little lunches, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to wash it off. And that actually puts a little bit of water on there, rinses it off. And then I'm going to go right on top of the dish with that. Yeah, so that's just going to kind of steam with the rest of the food right now. And what I'm getting going is I'm cooking in the center. I'm kind of blasting the taste of the red pepper and the garlic into the rest of the food. Yeah. But garlic is easy to peel if you've got fingernails. I have fingernails, so I'm not worried about it. But if you don't have any fingernails, garlic would be pretty hard to peel. Yeah. It's a shrimp mix in a jar. They sold this for $1. It's called Safe Harvest. And I just used half of a jar the other day, so I've got the rest of it. Yeah, so I'm gonna put some milk in here. Now I've talked about this before. Whole milk, I don't know if you guys realize, but whole milk is actually better for you than the low fat. Even though if you're on a diet, I still recommend whole milk because in the old days they used to make a skim milk. Remember that? I'm just going to put about not even an eighth of a cup in there. I'm going to loosen it up a little bit. But they used to make skim milk. Now it's called, 1%, 2%. There we go. This is kind of a white sauce. You can use an Alfredo sauce. You don't even need to use this. It just makes it a little bit better when you're tasting the shrimp. But it's important to note that they make the low-fat milks with a type of a thinner, I don't know exactly what the product is, but it is definitely something like petroleum that they use. I believe they do the same thing with cottonseed oil. They use a type of turpentine. I don't know if it's turpentine with milk. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it breaks down the milk, the oil in the milk, and that way they can extract it. Whereas in the old days, they used to, they just used to centrifuge it, and they pull the skim milk off, and they drain that, and that was skim milk. You can still buy skim milk. It does exist. So if you find skim milk, that's actually the perfect stuff to get. I used to wonder what the difference was. And Sarah's father was going to his doctor, and his doctor told him this because they know a lot about raising cows and milk. Yeah. Anyway, he told us about it, and I said, Sarah, you know, that totally makes sense. So I went off low-fat milk about, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago. So when I make my coffee, I just put a little bit of, whole milk in there. And I'm hearing stuff about milk, this is that, and it's like, some people say some pretty horrible things about milk, but actually I like milk, and I think milk's good for us. So I'm going with I'm pro milk. Now, if I can improve the milk industry or find out what that chemical is they use to make that would help me. I don't know what the chemical is, so I'm just siding on the side of safety when I get my skim milk. I don't, I just go with whole milk. All right, I've got a couple more pieces of garlic. Whenever I go in and shuffle the food around, I usually throw some garlic in. It's kind of a phased thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it up and dive right in. And just throw some garlic in and move everything around. The shrimp is infusing its flavor. The turkey is moving around. Everything's kind of working together. And when your vegetables are pretty much done, as in they push through, which they're almost there, yeah, go ahead and just throw that, whatever you're going to use. Cream of mushroom soup works too. I'm going to throw that right on top. What the hell? Not sure what the hell that was in there. Okay, just going to throw it right on top like that. There you go. And see, I still have some in there. So I'm going to use some milk to put that in there. Now, if you got butter, this is a good dish to put butter in. But, of course, it adds cholesterol to your dish, but hey, why not? Don't use margarine. I highly recommend not even using margarine because of the chemicals that they put in that stuff. Butter's your way to go. If you get good deals on butter, it's all good. Okay, so I'm going to get as much of that out of there as I can. I might splash a little water in there and get the rest of it on top of everything else. Now, yeah, take that sauce and just kind of push it in like this. You're just kind of diving into the spatula and breaking things up. The shrimp will remain intact. We didn't touch the shrimp, so they'll have nice big shrimp in their dinner. Beautiful. Okay, so we've kind of broken the layer of white sauce in there. You could put cheese in there too. That's something you could add if you wanted. Parmesan cheese works here. Okay, I'm going to take the frozen rice and put it right on top. Yep, right out of the freezer. Okay, I'm still at level 3. You can break it up if you can, kind of crumble it with your fingers. Okay, here we go. We're at level 3. Just keep it cooking. Keep it cooking. You're doing great. This is the time when the whole dish kind of comes together. Come together, jambalaya over me. Okay. Yeah, I think I will put a little water in that thing. Get every last bit of it in there. Action cam. Pour that right on top. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and then I get ready for recycling. I recycle all glassware, metal, number 1 and number 2 plastic. And this kind of plastic is recyclable, this stuff. This is the same exact material as bread bags. So if you got bread bags, check your local Kroger. If you've got a Kroger, they've got a recycle bin there. And they take the plastic bags like that if it's dry. So I'm gonna put it over here and dry it out. So yeah, I actually reuse a lot of bags. Like I was telling you last week, I reuse like bags for vegetables 3 or 4 times. Highly recommend reusing and recycling. We're going to see if I were involved, I would probably recycle 50 to 60% of the things that are out there. Right now we're only recycling 10%. Yeah. So we haven't really made much progress in that area. And I know a lot of people are like, hell, that's just a waste of time. Everybody knows I just throw that in the dumpster. Well, you can say that if you want. You can believe it if you want. But in reality, it's not. All those number 1 and number 2 peats that are, and 4 and 5 are actually being recycled in proper centers. It's only 10% though that people do. So only 10% of the people of the country recycle, which I find absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really. Now there won't be a show tonight with Sarah. She's going to be. She's got some things to do at school, so. Yeah, the recycle bottle. You have to send CRB to get money here. Yeah, well, save the CRB notice. I honestly don't know what to say about that. I like the program they have on the East Coast. There's Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, I think Massachusetts. They all give like 5 cents back on each plastic item. And it's working, man. I know a guy back east that actually makes about 30 to 40,000 a year picking up plastic bottles on the East Coast. He actually does pretty well. Seriously. That sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Yeah, I mean, so we need incentives like that. So if we did it nationwide, like they're doing on the East Coast, that's all we really need to do. Really. And if we stop producing plastic bags completely, even these heavy-duty ones they're pushing at the markets, because I know a lot of these markets are now pushing the heavy-duty bags, and I've got a bunch of them. I've saved them and I use them again and again. But what people are doing now is just saying, well, I ran out of garbage bags, so I'm just going to use the recyclable ones. So we're really putting heavier plastic in our landfills now. It used to be lighter plastic when we had lightweight plastic, but now we've gone to heavier plastic. So I'm recommending paper bags. Yeah. Paper bags. And I'm right. They will recycle. They cost 10 cents where you are, Wiggs. Yeah. Well, that's not a big cost, or it's a bag cost. Sorry. Yeah. Big cost, man. A bag cost. All right, I'm almost done. I just have to mix everything up and close it down and put maybe some cheese on it, but I'm not going to do the cheese thing. You can do Parmesan. That's really kind of seals the deal. Or you can serve with Parmesan too. Okay, what I'm going to do is just kind of give it a big rotation right now. I'm going to push the rice into the dish, and then take it from the sides and take the spatula and just go right up and rotate. Oh, this looks so good. So you get the full measure, you get all the food groups. Yeah, so the rice gets into the dish. Everything's cooked pretty much al dente. And now you can just let it sit on the stove and reheat it when you want to serve it. And like I said, put some Parmesan on top when you serve it. You can pepper it to taste. In fact, now is not a bad time to put a little pepper on here. And if you're into any of those special things that make you feel like you really want to add something to your dish, I of course have this, which I use, and also pepper. So I'm just going to add a little of that to the top. But you can see the shrimp is coming out. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to put that on top. And a little pepper with that, and it makes it even better. Black pepper is definitely a big thing in this dish, so putting it on at the end kind of seals the deal. And I kind of press it all in like this. And see how it's all soaking in the water? See that? Yeah, that's your full-on meal right there. And that's just going to kind of balloon out a little bit, just a little bit, once the rice fills up with water. I'm going to put it on simmer and just let it set. In fact, I'm going to put it on the front burner and put it on melt, which is even lower. Okay, we're ready to start the other show. We're done here. You can definitely feed 5 people with that for a total of $8. And it's got the meat, the galore. It's like protein galore. All right, everyone, signing off. David's Kitchen, thank you for coming in. I'll be back. I'll be uploading this later tonight.